In this video, I'm going to give you the complete A to Z of owning a HMO that actually makes you money and not just from the rent. So I'm going to give you the complete A to Z, and there are 15 steps here that if you follow them in this exact order, like a recipe, you are guaranteed to make money, and lots of it, not just from the rent as well. So you're going to want to make sure you get all of these, because one piece of the ingredient could knock you out, and it has knocked many people out from actually making money or pulling off a successful project to add to your portfolio. First step is you've got to get the demand right. Most people, they'll just kind of tag along to something else or someone else, or say, oh, you did it on this street, you did it on the street, without even qualifying, is there actual demand there for now, and how can I future-proof myself? Because just because someone else did a property in an area and then everyone just like, oh, they're doing it there, so I'll do it there, you don't even know if they're making any money or not. You know, some people are and some people are not. So I want to give you both sides of the stories, not just the BS. You know what the BS is, don't you? Yeah, the blue skies. People just say, oh yeah, look at this, I'm making, you know, £1,200 cash flow. Not always true. So how do I get the demand? You see, in this area where I am now, it is just outside of Loughborough. Yeah, I'll tell you where we invest. And how do I qualify demand? First of all, I've got to ask, what is the product that people are begging for in the marketplace? What type of accommodation? Product, yeah, basically, obviously in real estate. I need to know, what are people renting if I want to have it as a rental? This area right here works for both flips, and I've done many of them, and also works for HMO. How do we know this? Because there are not very many options around here. Yes, you've got Loughborough, we've got loads up there in Loughborough as well, but it is a competitive market. And just outside here, there's not a lot of affordable living. So this type of room here, for example, that will go for about £900 a month, all bills included, this is gonna fly off the market. Why? Because it's a very high standard. So I need to know what the standard is, what product do people want. There's ensuite in here, there's kitchen facility here, and so on. There is also shared facilities that they can take advantage of, and it's quite spacious here. It's very well connected to commuting for different professionals, which is what this market is for. So once I know what the product is, how much it's going for, and how fast it will move off the market, and then I know where it is, that now I've started to build a picture of what a solid demand looks like. And as you're going to see, these steps, they all tie into each other. So demand, check. So once I now know the demand and I know what I need to turn it into. So in this particular area, we now know the rooms that people can have, like double ensuite rooms, very affordable living, but nice luxury, secure accommodation. This is what's going to fly. How do we know this? We did this due diligence, and we have one across the road already. There is another one about 200 yards up the road that we had. And now even further down the road, probably like a mile in this village, there is 2 more that we delivered as well. So now we're doing this one. Yeah, so we find this deal and it's in a disastrous state. Now, this is what we actually want to do, because once we know the demand, we know what the end value is going to be. We know what it's going to look like when it's finished. That's what we know, what we've got to create. Now, here's the trick. We do something called the gap advantage. I teach this in many different programs that I do, because it's the core of how you make real serious money. Let me show you this principle that I've been teaching all over the world, this gap principle. This is where you're going to make money. Yeah, so the first thing is, yeah, once we've got exactly what it is people are looking for, we're going to come up with what is that worth, either selling or buying. Yeah, so then there'll be a cost involved, and you're going to see why there's a cost involved in a moment. Yeah, and then that will tell us, by the way, when we work out how much it can actually purchase price it stands for. Yeah, how much I can buy it for. So what I'm supposed to do is I work out what the market wants. Then I go out and find something that is not that. I don't buy stuff off plan. I don't buy finished articles. I know what the end product is. Might be 5-bedroom houses, might be 4 bedrooms, it might be studios, apartments, flats, whatever it is. You've seen how you gather that intelligence. And then I go and find something that is not that. And then we decide, well, okay, this is how much it will cost. So we break down what would it be to turn it into that, to do the renovation, to do the loft conversion, to do the extension, or whatever it needs doing. Now this gap here is your money. So we done our numbers in terms of working out how much would it cost for us to turn it in to the actual end product that the market wants. And this is the calculation you've got to do. How much is it going to cost me to turn it into that? Because then I take the final price, which we thought was going to be around 415,000. This was calculating a GDV based on how valuers value what we were going to turn into a 6-bed HMO with 3 studios. What we then do is we got to take the loan to value. This is now working the numbers out. I'm going into the next stage here because once we find the deal, we've got to work the numbers out. So we find this deal, work the numbers out. I take the loan to value of the 415,000. We work out 75%. Now I've got to take off the build cost, which is around 140,000, give or take, which is what we said it was going to be. That now tells us how much we can buy it for. So we were willing to pay the 171,000. Now we know we can buy it for 171,000, take all the money out, but we still got the cost of the financing. So this is where it gets interesting. Once we actually get our builders in here, we come and view it. We had some trouble with the agents who were selling this, who actually said, put your offer in and actually exchange, then we can let you come in. But the way we raise finance, which is another step, we go to the bank and actually ask them to cover 60% of the purchase price and all of the development costs, called a development loan. So what we need to do for that to happen is we need to give them a full schedule of works. Well, we need someone to come in and measure up if we're going to give them do a schedule of works, which the agent wasn't allowing us to do. So look, I want you to know that there's going to be hurdles, there's going to be hoops you've got to jump through. Anyway, finally, we managed to get back in here, and it was through the real life community. Actually, I was on a mentoring call myself and I was giving this as an example, and someone knew somebody else in the auctions department, which is what they were going to selling it through. So then what happened, that we were allowed to come back in, we got everything measured up so we could put our schedule of works together. Now, when we came in, we actually found this floor here that I'm on and the one below it had a concrete floor just put on top of the wooden joists. This wasn't safe in our opinion, so we said, look, not only have we got to take the concrete out, but we've got to redo the floor as well. So this increased our cost. So now that increased our cost, that reduced the amount we could buy it, because now we also accounted for the cost of raising the money, because we'd got that amount from the bank, how much it was going to cost us. So our max offer was now £159,000 to buy it. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. You said 175 before. We said, yeah, but things have changed, and we're just being honest. Always do the right thing for the right reason. So they said, no, we can't sell it to you. We're going to put it in the auction. So they went and put it in the auction. So we thought, okay, we know what our max offer is. Let's go in the auction. Long story short, we managed to win the auction at 154,000. So when you win the auction, bam, we have to exchange straight away. So we borrowed money from the bank. Obviously, they're not giving it to us yet. So we have to cover the deposit, which is 10%. So it's about 16,000. But the rest of the money we have to raise from investors. Now, I've taught many people, and as you can see from people on our social media and at our events, sometimes we raise it 1, 2, sometimes even £3 million right there in the room. Very often 250,000, 400,000, £500,000 has been in the bank before people even leave the event. And sometimes this is within just a couple of days. So we raised the money from investors. We've used that to pay the deposit. And now auction conditions normally are 28 days, unless otherwise stated, which funnily enough, this for some reason was 14 days, which now we didn't have enough time to get the rest of the money from the development loan company. So we now have to go out to our market, to our network, based on how we teach people how to raise finance, and say, has anybody got 140 grand for a short-term loan until we get the loan? Someone did have it, and they wanted to charge a sum of money, which funnily enough took us from 154,000 up to the 159,000 that we could buy it for anyway. So we thought we saved a bit of money, but then the universe said, no, you said you could pay that. So that's what we ended up paying in borrowing that extra money. So we could buy the property cash. And then when the valuer went out and the bank gave us the money, we were able to pay that investor back. So just to check the steps, we know the demand. Yeah, so then we found the deal, because we know now we can turn this deal into this, and we use the next step, which is working the numbers. Yeah, now we're getting to the place where I just told the backstory, because I'm true and I want you to know all the little facets here of how you can make it work and overcome challenges of getting the offer accepted. Now we've got the offer accepted, we really got to move and make sure we finalize exactly what the construction team. So now this is where team members really come in. So we get the right construction team to come in. So part of the construction team is also our architect. So our architect, make sure all of the plans are there to fully come up with all of the details that we need. So all of these things run in tandem in terms of getting your solicitor and your broker, raising the finance from the bank, and then the architect and the construction team putting everything together, so you got all the plans. This now gets us to the stage where we can exchange and complete, and they take care of all the paperwork, and we start to move forward with the next stage, which is start the project. So before we start that project, obviously we would have a full schedule of works, knowing how much money we need to pay at each phase for what work is going to be done. And it is our job, our responsibility to make sure that that happens every step of the way. So we've not got more project than we have money left at the end. You know, some people, they got more project and not enough money to finish the project, and people find themselves in a bit of a challenge. So you've got to make sure you manage that efficiently and effectively. Here's the other step. We start the project. The managing of the project is the next step, what I just told you, and also we're now going into furnishings. So part of the team is also, you can do it yourself, but we like to get other people to do it, is the design. These are the guys that will come and say where the bed's going, where the socket's going, what paints are going where, what design, what wardrobes, all of these different things. You know, the carpets, the tiles, all of that good stuff to make it looking all sexy. So we start that furnishing, and by the time this furnishing is finished, we get the professional photos done, which then we'll use to market, which is the next stage. Market the property online to start getting it filled with tenants. So once we fill it with tenants, we have all the ASTs, the tenancy agreements in place, which we will use to then go back to the bank to do the next step, which is refinance. Now, what is interesting about doing the refinance here, when we first did our due diligence, we said 415,000. Now, when we purchased the property and the valuer came out to say, yep, can the bank lend us the money for the purchase as well as the build, the valuation that we were given was actually 435,000. So a lot higher than we thought. And now we know the standard and what we've done to this, and we added a few extras along the way to make it high standard. We know we're probably going to get a little bit more than that, so we're heading for around the 450 mark. So stay tuned and subscribe to see if that's where we get to. So then here's the bit where people fall off the cliff. Now the thing is done and the tenants are in here, you've got to manage and maintain it. So I have various different management agents take care of different aspects of my portfolio, because I don't want all my eggs in one basket. But you've got to assign someone to be able to do this, making sure they reference check and the tenants pay on time and everything is taken care of and the inventories are done, you know, the getting the tenant, the turning them out and all the rest of it. Here's one thing that people forget to do or don't do because they don't make enough money, and that's put a percentage of their income aside every single month, what we call maintenance and other expenses, for sometimes when things come up, because 3, 4, 5 years down the line, what we now do with our existing portfolio is, like, when a tenant moves out, we spruce it up. Sometimes we've got to paint, sometimes, you know, new carpet, just depends on the, you know, the level of wear and tear, what type of property it is, and so on. Yeah, so rather than go into my own pocket, the money is already there for things like that to be taken care of, because you also never know what's going to come up. Sometimes things break down, deteriorate, and need replacing. And this is why people don't make money, because they don't follow these steps. So as you can see, these are all the steps that we went through, and I obviously gave you a little bit more detail, but if you want to know more, subscribe to this channel, make sure you like it and comment and ask us any questions, and if more videos are needed to help you on your journey, we're definitely up for doing that. Until next time, do the right thing for the right reason, because it's the only way you discover your true potential.